Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K video. I'm out here on Facebook Live and just doing a double check that I'm in the right place and hopefully at the right time. So going to show you a little bit of coloring. Oh, yep, looks like things are good to go. So I'll try to keep track and see if any of you join in. I'm happy to have you take a peek at what I'm doing here and playing with the new Stampin' Blends markers. Before I get going on my card project for today, I wanted to remind you about a couple of specials that Stampin' Up! Has going on. Currently they have the Designer Series paper, buy 3 get 1 free happening. And actually the paper that I'm using today, or the one that I used on this card, is the Just Add Color Specialty Designer Series paper. And that's one of them that's available in the buy 3 get 1 free sale. So definitely stock up on that because you're going to have a lot of fun coloring, and it gives you lots of sheets to practice on too. So, but for this sale, you can mix and match anything on here on the sheet. As far as buy any 3, you can buy all 3 the same. You can buy all 3 different. Doesn't matter, and get the 4th one for free. So there are holiday papers, Christmas papers, papers from the holiday catalog, so it's definitely a bonus, so be sure you take a look at that. This sale runs through the end of October, so make sure you get them picked up and before the end of October, and you'll be good to go. Hey Karen, well, I'm glad that you got stuck. Well, not glad that you're not feeling well, but glad that you ended up being at home so you could take a peek at the video. So the second promotion I wanted to let you know about, quick reminder that the Merry Patterns Host promotion is going on right now, and you can get this stamp set from Stampin' Up! For free in addition to all of the regular host benefits that you would get with either a $300 party or a $300 order. So if you have a group of friends, Stampin' friends, that are interested in doing an online party, let me know and I will get you a host code and we can get you set up so that you can get this stamp set and earn it for free. And it is a great stamp set, so you're definitely going to want it. But if you want to do that, be sure you do so quickly because the end of October, this promotion goes away. It only goes through the end of October. So let me know if you have questions on that. All right, now we're going to jump in and take a peek at the card that I'm going to be working on. I'm not going to show you everything that I did on this card just because it would take me quite a while and you would probably be bored and asleep watching me sit and color and then glue everything together. So I'm just going to focus on the coloring part of it today. So again, it's the Designer Series paper that is the Just Add Color that I used for the background of this. And I used the Birthday Banner stamp set, did a little bit of heat embossing with copper Stampin' Emboss powder, added in some copper foil pieces from the copper foil sheets, and did a little die cutting and punching and embossing. So again, the details for this are all listed out, excuse me, on my blog today, and I'll put a link to inside this video area so you can take a look at the blog post if you haven't seen it. So, I'm sorry. Goodness, of course I start coughing the minute I start talking. So a quick thing on the Stampin' Blends. These are currently not available for customers. They're only available to demonstrators. So if you want to get them now early, you can go ahead and join. So if you're interested in joining and getting your hands on these, there's absolutely no pressure to buy anything other than your starter kit. So you're welcome to purchase as much or as little as you'd like and do as much or as little as you want to. With the Stampin' Up!, you're able to actually just be what's commonly known as a hobby demonstrator, and that means basically that you just purchase for yourself, and that's just fine. There's no pressure to sell to anyone else. And there's a quarterly minimum that you would need to meet if you want to continue to be a demonstrator, but if you don't meet it, you just drop and go back to being a customer. So definitely no pressure, no penalty. So if you're interested in getting these, you can join, and just be sure that you do it before Sunday, because these markers are only available to demonstrators to pre-order through Sunday. So just be sure if you want to join, jump on in, get going, but do so before Sunday. Otherwise, the markers are going to go away temporarily until Stampin' Up! Lets us know when they're going to be available for everyone to purchase. They have told us they'll give us about a 2-week heads up so that we can let you guys know and you can get ready for ordering them, but we don't know exactly when that's going to be. A couple things on the markers. They come in 12 different colors. It's Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, Cherry Cobbler, Crumb Cake, Daffodil Delight, Night of Navy, Old Olive, Pink Pirouette, Pool Party, Pumpkin Pie, Rich Raspberry, and Smoky Slate. And they have a light and a dark of each of the markers. So just so you know, they come in, you can get them as a set, you can buy them individually, but they have a light and a dark of each, as well as a bronze, an ivory, and a color lifter. The bronze and the ivory you can use to do skin tones with. You can do lighter and darker depending on what you want to do as far as the skin colors go. So those markers are fantastic, and I've been having fun playing with those. And then there's a color lifter, and that removes color if you end up with hey, thanks for joining. I'm glad you're liking the blends too, because yes, I mean, they're fantastic, and I've been having fun playing with them. I'm not a coloring expert by any stretch, but these make it awfully easy to do. So I started color lifter. Sorry, I got sidetracked looking at comments. So a color lifter, you can use it to lighten up areas. You can use it a little bit for blending. I haven't had a lot of success with that, but I'm, again, not a coloring expert. The one thing that it is really good for is fixing boo-boos. So if you have something where you go a little bit out of the lines, you can take the color lifter and push the color back inside the line. So that's definitely a nice little thing. So, all right, on with coloring. Today I'm going to focus on, I did a fall card when I did mine, so I tried to stick with more of the fall leaf colors. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I just picked a random leaf to start coloring on. I'm going to do the big one here in the middle, and I'm going to use the Pumpkin Pie dark marker first. Hey Amy, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, Linda's jumping in too. So hey, I'm glad your markers arrived. Can't wait to see what you color with them too. Woohoo! So when I did it, again, I'm not a coloring expert, and all the shading stuff, I don't know all the rules on that. I just go with what I like, the way it looks, and this is how I liked it. So this is how I'm going to do it. So I took the dark Pumpkin Pie marker and did sort of a little scratchy look down the edge of the leaf. I tried not to do a real straight line, just because when you're blending it, it makes it a little bit easier. It's not quite as harsh of a line to try to color out if it's not exactly straight. And the colors do blend pretty easily, and I don't know, I'm starting on a different comment, but anyway, so now I've got the light Pumpkin Pie marker, and I'm going to go ahead and just color over the top. The markers do have a bullet point, or a more fine point, which is the one that I'm using, and they also have a more broad point, which I am not using, again, because I'm not that familiar with how to color with these markers yet, and all the techniques and that sort of thing. I just found the fine point was a little bit easier for me to control where the ink was going, because I tend to get a little messy and get things going out of the lines, you know. So again, I'm not a coloring expert. I haven't really been good at coloring. Even as a kid, I wasn't that good at it. So, but these make it fun. Do a little shading and all that good stuff. So, all right, coloring right along here. So I've blended in pretty well the dark colors. So now I'm going to go and start coloring towards the center with them. Oop, and I'm already going off the line, see? So start coloring towards the center and do kind of the lightest layer of color here in the middle. So hopefully you can see that on the video, that it's more shaded, a little darker on the outside. You can go in and add another layer of color. What I found easiest was definitely starting with it lighter and then go into a darker shade, because if you start getting it too dark, it's harder to get it to lighten back up. So hopefully you can see a little bit of shading on there. Then I also played a little bit with the color lifter on some of the leaves. I tried not to do like a lot of scrubby color in on it. What I did was just sort of went back in and did some little areas where I sort of touched it that I wanted to be a little bit lighter. And that was kind of how I used the color lifter on it. So let's see, I'm going to grab, I think, Old Olive next. And again, I started with the darker color first, went around the edge of the leaf. And I didn't go all the way out to the edge because they do need a little bit of room for kind of bleeding and blending. If you go right up to the edge, you're going to end up with a lot of ink outside the lines. Trust me. So I played with them a little bit and found that, oh, woohoo, Karen, look at you, sold on one leaf. But yes, they are a lot of fun to play with. I think you're going to love them. I don't think you'll regret it at all. So coming back in with the Old Olive light marker now and doing a little bit of blending. And that's funny, Karen, that I've sold you on one leaf because I am so not a coloring expert. Man, if you get somebody who's really good at this stuff, you'll be amazed at what they can do. I kind of, you know, like I said, I've not really been an excellent colorer. Even as a kid, I was sort of not that good at it. So had trouble staying in the lines even with regular markers. So coloring and fussy cutting are my two things that, oh man, if there's a way I can avoid doing it and stamp it and die cut it instead, I definitely will. So laying on a little bit of color here with the light Old Olive and just blending in from the edges again, trying to make it lighter in the center. And again, you can do these however you want to. This is, like I said, I'm no coloring expert. I'm just going based on the way that I like it to look, and that's how I like it. So I like it a little darker along the edges. So I'll add another layer of color on there. I also did find with these that as the markers, or as the ink dried a little bit on the paper, it sort of blended a little bit more by itself. So, so that's something that's definitely good to know too, is that if I had a little bit of a harsh line, I let it sit for a minute and I'm like, oh, that kind of blended itself in. One other thing to know on the coloring, just a quick tip on it, they do blend easier. I'm using Cherry Cobbler right now to add a little bit of color to the dots here. They do blend a little bit easier if the ink is still wet. So try not to color a huge area with them at one time. Oop, there I went out of the lines with the Cherry Cobbler. See, I'm not very good at coloring. I think I'm going to do, let's see, a couple quick leaves here in, oh, that's the light color, in Crumb Cake. Show you real quickly that one. And when I did the crumb cake, I just sort of did a little dot down here towards the bottom of the leaf. And then went back in with the light. So, oh, Christy, yes, thank you for pointing that out. Yes, it does definitely bleed through on the back, so thanks for mentioning that. Hey, Karen, glad you jumped in. So it does bleed through on the back, so you definitely want a surface underneath that's protected. You don't want to put it right on your regular work area. So coming back in with the light color and adding a little bit of blending with those. I think I already talked about that. It's easier to blend them when the colors are wet, so I got talking, and hopefully I didn't wait too long. But they will blend when they're dry, but it just takes a little bit more work and a little bit more blending on them to get them to work. So. All right. Last one I think I'm going to show you, I think I'll use the Calypso Coral on a leaf here quick and show you how that one looks. So again, this is the dark Calypso Coral, and I kind of took it and scratch it along the edges, not in a real straight line, so that it's a little easier to blend. And then I'm going back in with the light Calypso Coral marker and coloring over the top. Blending stuff in here a little bit. So, is anybody out here? I see that a couple of you say you've got the markers already. Hopefully you've been playing a little bit with them. They are a lot of fun, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I was excited when they brought them back because, I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm not very good at coloring, but these markers make it easy, and I love that they match the Stampin' Up! Colors already, because I'm sort of color challenged when I go out, and some people can pick out colors that work perfectly together, and I so cannot. It's so much easier for me when someone sort of puts it all together for me. It's like, this is going to match Calypso Coral, cardstock, and ribbon, and ink, and okay, awesome. So that works for me. So, so that's the one big bonus to me, is that all the colors are already matching the colors that we've currently got. So that's my Calypso Coral leaf, and then I'll probably go back in with a little bit here on the color lifter and maybe just take a little bit of the color out of here. to give it a little bit more kind of a layered look, if that makes sense. The last thing I did when I was working on my card was I took my light pool party marker and just colored the whole background. The other bonus with doing that is, well, first of all, I didn't necessarily like the, do you know if you can also use a blender pen if it dries? You know, Karen? I don't know. I have not played with them with a blender pen, so I'll have to check on that for you. So, but I have not, yeah, like I said, I haven't tried it with a blender pen, so I don't know. I don't know for sure if that would work or if it would not. So anyway, the background of this, sorry, I got sidetracked looking at comments. So the background of this, I didn't necessarily like the stark white look that I had when I was initially coloring. And on top of that, as I told you, I'm kind of a sloppy colorer, so things went out of the lines. So the one bonus of taking one of the markers and going around and coloring in the back, calling me, I never get phone calls, and right in the middle of my video, I get one. So sorry, I should have muted that. So here I am coloring in the background. The other bonus with this, when you color in the background, is that you can sort of color in and blend your mistakes too. So if there are things where you went out of the line, you can blend it in with the background color that you're using. So hopefully that gives you a little sample of what the colors look like and what you can do with them. Like I said, I've been having a lot of fun playing with them. Hopefully you will too. One other little tip that I wanted to let you know about is I did some playing yesterday with just our regular Stampin' Up! Water-based inks. And because these are alcohol pens, I know that alcohol and water don't mix together, so I thought I'd give it a try with some of our regular ink. So this one I used, did a little Stampin' in soft suede ink and used the little, what is it, Seasonal Chums stamp set. Which has got the cute little deer image. And I only stamped one of him. I didn't stamp the doubles to make the tag. I just wanted him individually. And took my crumb cake marker, did a little dark coloring around the edge of the deer, and then found out that you can actually blend and use these with our regular inks. So I was really happy to find that out. So that was a little happy find for the day yesterday, that you can use them with our regular inks. So if you don't necessarily like the harsh black image when you stamp it, you can use the regular Stampin' Up! Inks and blend with those. So like I said, it was a happy little find yesterday. So I don't know if you want me to color in the whole deer, if you want me to quit once I get this blended in. But anyway, like I said, did a little playing and happily found out that these work with our regular inks as well as the Tuxedo Black Memento ink that they are designed to work for us, or work with. So I believe that they would work with all of the Stampin' Up! Ink colors. I guess I only tried a couple of the browns when I did it. So, but I'm sure that they'll work fine with the greens and whatever else you want to use. So, anyway, so like I said, that was a happy little find yesterday. Thought it was a bonus that we can then use some colors to stamp the images in, as well as just the black. So, let's see, a couple questions looks like they've come up. When you use the color lifter, does the point end up being the color you are lifting? No, it does not, Karen. I don't know exactly how it works, but I just know that it does not. I can show you. This is the point I was just using to lift up Calypso Coral, and it's back to, it doesn't pick up the color, it just sort of moves it around. All right, and then Christy's asking, when using the color lifter, do you need to clean the tip? No, you don't actually. I haven't had to do it. Like I said, I just was lifting color with it, put the cap back on, set it down, and just picked it up now, and it's just fine. So, any other questions before I'll keep coloring the deer a little bit if you want to hang out and watch. I'm using the bronze right now to add some color to his antlers and his little feet. And then I'm going to come back in with the ivory color. And all right, so come back in with the ivory color. And good, I'm glad I answered your questions, Karen. Color his little antlers and blend those a little bit. And color his little, is it hoofs, feet, whatever, I don't know, little animal feet. So, oh, and I realized I forgot to color his ears when I was busy coloring his head. So we'll add in a little crumb cake back around the ears. And pink pirouette is what I use for his Lee. Hey, she's asking, do we have a start date yet for when they can be ordered? And no, we do not. But as soon as I know that, I will be posting it all over. You can believe that. It'll be in my newsletter. It'll be on my blog. So definitely keep an eye on that. Stampin' Up! Has told us that we're going to get a 2-week notice, or approximately a 2-week notice for before we can start selling them. So if you join as a demonstrator now, you can get them through the 15th of October. And after that, you'll have to wait until they go up for sale for everybody. So if you are a demonstrator or want to join as a demonstrator, definitely do that by Sunday so that you can get some of the markers and get going with them. This I'm using a little Daffodil Delight to color his Jingle Bell. So if you're interested in joining, definitely get your starter kit filled out, and I can send you the details if you are interested in adding some of these pens to your starter kit, which is a good deal. You get $125 worth of merchandise for $99 plus free shipping. And I'm using Cherry Cobbler, the light and dark, to color the bow, and hopefully you can see some of it. Sorry, I know my big hand gets in the way, especially when you're coloring little stuff. So there you go. So that's my little deer that I colored, that I stamped in soft suede and colored with the Stampin' Blends markers. So, like I said, I was just excited to see that they worked, and so a little bonus. If you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, again, all the products or all the papers that I was coloring on here, you can definitely buy in my Stampin' Up! Store. And as soon as the markers are available, I'll post a note, and you should be able to get those hopefully sometime soon. They've told us that it should be before the end of the year, but until we know for sure the actual start date, then we'll just have to hang on and wait. And Lee's asking, are these the same as the old blendabilities from a couple of years ago? They are not the same. They are similar. They color in a similar way. They have made some changes to the design of them and the caps so that they will last longer. They had an issue with them last time that they were drying out. Some of them were even received dry, which is not a good thing. But these, they've redesigned the cap and redesigned the barrel of the marker so that there are not the issues with it drying out inside. So they are a similar marker, but not exactly the same. So, and the last time around, they actually had 3 different colors in each color set, and this time they've only got 2, which I haven't really noticed that there's a lot of difference, you know, and not. Initially when I grabbed them, I thought, oh, I wonder if this is going to work and I can blend, but I've been really happy with the results that I've been getting with them. And again, I'm not an expert colorer by any stretch, but I've been happy with what I've been getting with the 2 colors. So if you have any other questions, feel free to post them, or stop by my blog, stop by Facebook anytime, and post a comment out there, and I will keep an eye on it and hopefully be able to catch everything. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll post the information on the actual card that I started by showing you today. I'll post a link to my blog post so you can take a look at the details for that card over there. And again, thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing your morning with me. And I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon.